Good morning, fourth grade. All right, so today is our second to last class of the year, which is very sad but exciting at the same time. I just want to say super fast that I hope you don't lose everything that we've learned this year. So I want you to make sure that you are still practicing your multiplication tables, especially. And I encourage you, I know I make my kids do this every year, I encourage you to get yourself a bridge book. A bridge book is a book that helps bring you from one grade to the next grade without losing everything that you learned in this year, during this year. So if you get a summer bridge book, it will say on the outside of it from 4th to 5th grade. Okay, there's grammar in it. There's usually writing activities, but there's math. So I want you to make sure that you do that. And a lot of them say that you can do it in 15 minutes a day. I'm going to put up a few examples right here. All right, on to today's lesson. So we are going to talk about circle graphs today and how they relate with fractions. Okay, so on page 536, we're going to talk about circle graphs. And what shape do you think a circle graph is? A circle, yes. Okay, so ever since we started learning about fractions, we talked about how the circle can be the whole and that it can be divided into fractions. It kind of sounds like a project you might be doing. Remember, that's due on Thursday. Okay, so if you look on example A in your book on 536, it says, make a circle graph to show the data in the table. So it says favorite type of show. Okay, I bet we're all watching a lot of shows during this time, hopefully not as much lately because it's beautiful outside, but it says favorite type of show: comedy, drama, game shows, and sports. Okay, not that much sports going on right now, but you can watch old ones. All right, so favorite types of show. So we have comedy, drama, game shows, and sports. Okay, comedy is 7 people, drama 3 people, game shows 2 people, and sports 4 people. Okay, so the first thing that you need to find out is how many people were asked altogether. So you need to add up all of those people. So we need to add 7 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4, and that comes out to 16. So this circle graph is out of 16 people. The whole is 16. So 16 is going to be the denominator. Okay, so we divide a circle into 16 equal parts to represent 16 people. Shade 7 parts for comedy, 3 parts for drama, and so on. Label each section and write a title for the graph, okay? And it's always good to do a different color for each one. Okay, so if you look at that graph, after you color in, let's say 4 people for sports, okay? If you look at that circle, what fraction does that look like? Well, we know it's 4/16, but 4/16 can be reduced to 1/4, and you can tell just by looking at it that that takes up 1/4, okay? And comedy takes up about 1/2. It doesn't take up 1/2, but it takes up about 1/2. It takes 7 out of 16, and 8 out of 16 would be a half. Okay, so I have a graph that I'm going to show you up on the screen, and it's different ways that people get to school. Now, I know that the way that you get to school right now is by walking to your desk or the dining room table or the kitchen table. So you could run, you could skip, you could slide down the stairs, Okay, but those are the only ways you're going to school right now. But this is a graph of how people get to school, and it looks like how people get to school in the city. Okay, so I'm going to put that up right here. Okay, so if you saw that graph, you would know that 8 people walked, 9 people go by car, 4 by bus, 5 by cycle or bicycle, 1 by train, and 3 by taxi. So this is probably in the city, and this school could be college, high school. Okay, so remember, the first thing we have to do is add all the people together, okay? And it comes out to 30. So that's how many pieces, pieces that the circle needs to be divided into, okay? And then 8 out of 30 will be shaded in, 9 out of 30 will be shaded in for car, 4 out of 30 will be shaded in for bus, and that can actually be reduced to 2/15. 5 out of 30 by bicycle, so 5 over 30 can be reduced to 1/6. 1 out of 30 for train, 3 out of 30 for taxi, which can be reduced to 1/10. Okay? So it's the total number added together that is what you divide the circle into, and that becomes the denominator. And then each piece or each subject becomes the numerator, okay? And sometimes they can be reduced, and you can tell just by looking at it about how much it takes up, okay? And when I say about how much, what is that called? Estimating. Good. Okay, so for today, you are going to do practice 537, A and B odd, okay? And for tomorrow, you're going to do 539 odd, and this is a problem-solving skill. Your problem-solving skill is how to write a good explanation, okay? So you can try to describe something to someone, and you might know what you're saying in your head, but when it comes out of your mouth, they don't really get it. So especially in math, we need to learn how to write a good explanation that isn't too wordy and isn't confusing. Okay, so let's look at the top of page 538. When you write to explain an estimate, you will need to tell the reasons why you made your estimation. Okay, so look at the balloons up there. Balloons. To solve this problem, you must estimate. Do not find the exact answer. Okay, the balloons shown in the picture were placed at the entrance to a school party. Remember those? Estimate the total number of red balloons in the complete balloon arch. Explain how you made your estimate. Okay, so you're looking at that and looking at about how many of them are red. So you can look at each section. Now look at that first section. And if there's a pattern in it, if you count one section, like say 1/3, you could, or 1/4, you could multiply to see about how many red there are in the whole thing. Okay, so step 1. Section 1 is about 1/4 of the arch. I counted 5 red balloons in this section. Step 2, there are 4/4 in the whole. So if each section has about 5 red balloons, then there are about 4 times 5 or 20 red balloons in the arch. Okay, so you're just explaining why you got what you got or how you got what you got, but in a short kind of way that's not confusing. All right, so for tomorrow's homework, you're going to do 539 odd, so just 3, 5, 7, and 9, and it's all going to be based on the pictures next to there of how you got your estimate. Not exact answer, estimate. All right, start working on that, and I will see you in a few minutes.